Hi guys, we're going to look at GameStop once again, and just before we get into the information, well, there's some good information today. Going to go through some technical analysis at some areas of support that I identified, and it looks like it's holding pretty strong. And we've got some estimations on how many shares there are, and basically it's not looking good for the hedge funds. That's the long and short of it. So stick around to the end of the video to see that information and see how this was calculated. But before then, just please give a like on the video. Your support, guys, has been excellent as always, so really appreciating it. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because I'll be bringing out more GME as much as I can. So what am I bringing today? Well, you remember that I brought out this point of support. This goes back to March, May, and then was outlined early at the start of July. Well, if we go into the 5-day graph, you can see that it hit below here on the 14th, sorry, just hit on the line there, and was touching upon the 15th of July, but then shot back up, and it looked like GME was down in the morning, but it seems to be rebounding pretty strongly. So this point of support, this trend line here, looks like it's holding pretty darn well. So that is good news in the short term. But if we just go into the 5-day here, this was something that I wanted to bring up attention. So we can see here that we had these values here, and this parallel channel was very game was trading pretty tightly. GME was trading pretty tightly within that for the last few days. And if we extend this out across the bottom, you can see that a lot of these prices have been within there. So I've noticed something very similar. If we go a little bit closer here, I'll just change it to the minute chart, 5-minute chart, sorry, and then we zoom out a little bit. You can see that this is a channel here. So we're trying to identify some areas of support and resistance here. Luckily it's broke past these previous lines, and now it looks like we're on a new line of support. So I've been hopefully it's going to trade somewhere within these values here, inside these two lines of a previous high and the previous lows. So I'm expecting it to probably trade within here for the next couple of days, going between anywhere between 170 and 200, fluctuating pretty wildly. But I'm expecting some pretty upwards moves. If it gets past 176, it was touching there before, but has gone back down. This is kind of a new point of resistance, and if we extend that out, you can see that this goes back quite a bit to some of these earlier points here where sorry, I've still got the parallel channel open, my mistake. I need to click and go back on the trend line, but you can see this one here has been a previous resistance point at GME at a couple of points in history, bound even in April and as recently as May. So will it break past the 180 mark? If it will, I think it can definitely go to 200 in the short term, but really after that is just biding time until the squeeze and the Moass. So what was the point of this video? Let me just take you to this one. This is a Reddit user Get It Got, and it's the fireball update of Google Consumer Survey N 2200. At least 164 million game shares in the hands of US retail. So what does that mean? Well, he gives a best guesstimate for total shares owned globally at around 531 million. So there is a lot of information here about how he did it, how the calculations are done, when the survey was done, which was very, very recent. The data is new, and he's calculated all the values and estimated it. But if I just go to the too long didn't read and then quickly go to the bottom. So I use Google Customer Survey to survey the US population about their GameStop ownership, and Google Customer Survey is basically just a random surveying tool, so there's no bias in how these are selected. It's randomized representative surveys, allows the researcher to extrapolate results based on a broad population, and in the case of GameStop ownership, this allows the model some very interesting numbers that are tough to get otherwise. So if we just go to the very end here, you can see that, well, anyway, 500 million in GameStop shares is the best guess for the total of GME. And what is he saying? What does all this mean? Well, he is thinking that we are looking at as long as the retail investors continue to buy and hold at this point and buy and keep on buying and holding, then the scene can go a number of different ways. So GameStop's price will continue to rise and fall. His deep effing value pointed out, but only up in the long run. So what does he think these outcomes are? Well, the slow burn. Tesla is a good example. GameStop keeps getting stronger. It keeps on rising, 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 highs and highs, and this is a multi-year plan. Then fast burn, think overstock. GameStop initiate a scenario where it necessitates a recall, and then this squeeze is forced upon it, a much shorter thing with very rapid price movements. The new DCC rules, which people like Ape Andy will go through, and once again, this is slowly at once, and then everything should explode. And then in federal increments, and this is basically with the SEC getting involved. But in a nutshell, what is it? Oh, I can't even show you because it's a GIF. Just up. So hopefully that is true in what this user is saying. And if we just quickly touch upon some other Reddit users here, I'm not going to go through this because there's a lot of maths, a lot of detail, and a lot of formulas. But basically, this user is saying mathematical proof of phone number prices, which we would like to see. Hopefully not English numbers because they start with no, but hopefully international numbers. Under the assumptions of naked short existence, if the naked shorts are 200% of the float and an infinity pool larger than 30%, then the float makes it impossible to cover, therefore an infinite squeeze. So I would say have a look at this by W. Lade Sezik 44. Sorry if I've horribly mispronounced that, but this goes back to an infinity squeeze, which was mentioned by the CEO of Interactive Brokers, who openly on an interview and on my previous YouTube video said the squeeze can go to theoretically unlimited heights, and there is no stopping it, basically. So here is some maths on that function to say that basically they cannot cover the float at all. And finally, just on a side point, this is a tweet by someone, and it's showing how that short interest affects different stocks. So Tesla had a short interest and it went from 50 to 5,000. VW short interest was pretty high, with a small float, went from 40 to 1,000 euros in days. And if GME has a 229% short interest, is, well, I would say it was never half a dollar, but $3 and to 480, and then the short interest would go down with that price. So he is saying that this squeeze is not over. The squeeze is just beginning. The Moass is just beginning. Right, guys, just want to say thank you all for watching. I'll keep on bringing out the GameStop videos. I know that more people prefer coming to my channel than the AMC, but I would say check out the previous AMC video. Very different story to game right now. Very different story overall. I still think that GameStop is the major play, but AMC definitely, there can be some money to be made in that as well. Right, guys, I want to say thank you for watching. Please leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will catch you guys next time.